The year is October. Nope. No, it's not. October 23rd, 1944. Early yesterday, Sunday, October 22nd, Slavic found us in a trench and hid us in the grotto. Today at nightfall, he and his daughter, Hanka. Is it Hanka or Hanka?
I would go with Hanka.
Hanka?
Hanka, whichever.
He and his daughter, Hanka, came with food and medicine. We had not eaten since Friday, and all we had before, during last 2 battles, was maize bread, and not enough of that. Our commissary had been on its last legs anyway. The supply carriers had been dispersed by confusion and the enemy. Saturday afternoon, the remnants of our battalion, 184 men and officers, a quarter wounded, 16 stretcher cases, were retreating through the snow of the North Slope. At dawn Sunday, the 2 70mm guns opened up at us from close range, about 300 meters. Having held our position for 12 hours, I ordered a gradual breakup of the skirmish and slip-off. In our left trench, someone became careless, and that drew 2 direct hits, shells, 2 wounded. Arriving there, I bumped into the enemy, caught a bayonet and bullet with my left palm and blow on my head, which put me out. Without my fur cap, it might have been fractured. Slavic moved rocks in the cranny and opened a cleft, the entrance to this roomy grotto. Placing Martin in the niche, we were astonished to see Slavic became ceremonious. He crossed himself, each of us, the grotto, and, with a deep bow, its back wall, where a hole came to my attention. About to leave us, Slavic went through the same holy rites and begged me not to go further into his cave. I accompanied him to catch pine boughs, and he told me that only once, with his father and grandfather, had he been in this cave, that it is a huge maze full of pits which they never wanted to fathom, pockets of poisonous air, and, quote, certainly haunted. I was back in the grotto with my men at about midnight, exhausted, head very painful, soothed it with snow. Martin was unconscious, Jurek feverish. For breakfast, lunch, dinner, he and I had hot water, and thank God I had my pipe. I placed warm stones around Martin, and Jurek got the first watch.
Some of this we already went through. This one's really long with some of the stuff we've already talked about, so we'll skip the rest of that part. We'll go to October 24th, 1944. And since this is long, I'll read this part of it. October 24th, 1944. Peaceful night. Martin sipped fever tea and with honey. Hope we can all pull him through. Yorek's posterior is not even swollen, but my head still is.
That ass ain't fat.
Yorek got shot in the butt or stabbed in the butt. So at some point in the story, we skipped that part. They were basically sitting him in the snow to get the swelling down on his butt, which, you know.
That would work.
It sounds like a ridiculous injury, but I mean, if you're in war, you're going to get shot in the butt, I guess, sometimes.
And it would also hurt.
Yeah. I cut our belts, braided 8 meters of solid rope. At 10 p.m., was at the wall, anchored the rope over a stick across the crack. And this is a crack he hadn't explored earlier.
So this is him exploring the cave,
yeah,
right?
Now he'd gotten the rope and belts from the other 2 guys, so he could go a little bit deeper.
Gotcha.
Okay, anchored the rope over the stick across the crack, and keeping it slung over my shoulder, forced myself again into the grim maw. Like yesterday, the lamp, this time carbide, was on a stick ahead within the jaw above. When it came through and down, it swung freely over some void into which I could not see, and there was again rushing as if agitated waters. And unable to turn, I feared a water-filled pit ahead, and to end in it, literally, in a headstand. I wriggled upward, back again, my clothes caught on the protrusions, descended on my shoulders and head, and formed a plug. The resulting struggle nearly caused me to be burned alive. When out and on my feet, I was shaking from exhaustion and had lurid visions.
Yeah, see, I get anxiety just hearing shit like that.
I mean, that's, I don't want to be anywhere in there where, you're in such a tight place, your clothes don't even fit.
Yeah, I get like pretty mad. What's it called when you don't like being in confined spaces?
Claustrophobia.
Yeah, I get pretty mad claustrophobia in like similar situations that have plenty more room than this guy probably had. Like legitimately, it's terrifying. If I think I'm going to be enclosed and someone like no, I start breathing like, please.
Yeah, I know better than to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, as much as fascinating as caves are, and as much as I'd love to like dive deep in these crazy caves.
Yeah,
I know for sure I am not in that peak physical shape you need to be.
Yeah.
And even if I was, I'm not diving into 10-inch section.
Once you have to get on your hands and knees and crawl into a place like...
Count me out.
Yeah.
I need a quick escape.
Yep.
And crawling ain't that.
Yeah, because there might be monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there are no loose stones. Again, Mr. Horak is talking about in his diary. There are no loose stones about the wall, and so I hacked stalagmites into short rolls and bowled them through the crack. They rolled on, causing enormous echoes and knocked to a standstill, indicating a solid floor and room to turn. I launched the unlit torches after the stones, undressed, keeping the shirt only, and went after the stones and torches. Already acquainted with the meanest fangs in the crack, I came through with only a few cuts, dropped a little, rolled down an incline, and was stopped by a wall which felt familiar, satiny smooth like the front wall.
I got stopped by a wall. This feels familiar.
Yeah.
And I got to stop real quick. A while ago, he said he kept the shirt.
Yeah.
And that was it. Undressed, but a shirt.
Yeah.
He's like Donald Duck in it around the...
Sounds like it.
That's what... You're going to have all that just out and about around like sharp stones and whatnot?
I think that's... He probably kept the shirt on to get past some of the sharp stones, but his army pants were probably too bulky to get through this area without catching on something, is what it sounds like.
What else is catching on something if you're not wearing those? That's my question.
This is a family-friendly show.
Hey, I'm posing a question.
Well, maybe it was cold. Maybe it was cold. Maybe things weren't protruding as much as the stalactites or stalagmites.
Those aren't stalagmites. Yeah. Anyway.
My lamp was still burning next to me, but here were confusing sounds. Lighting like torches, I saw that I was in a spacious, curved, black shaft formed by cliff-like walls which intersect and form a crescent-shaped, nearly vertical tunnel rather than shaft. I cannot describe the somberness and the endless whisperings, rustlings, and roaring sounds, abnormal echoes from my breathing and movements. The floor is the incline over which I rolled in, a solid lime pavement. So he tried to shoot the walls again. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier.
What's this dude's deal with trying to like scratch the walls? Like,
I think that's like a normal type of manly thing. If they have a gun, they got to shoot something if they're not sure about it.
Like what? Can I damage this just in case it tries to attack and kill me?
Yeah, but maybe that's how weird the surface was, that it didn't make sense. So that's why he kept shooting it to see if it reacted.
And I don't know why I made him like a redneck gun enthusiast right off the bat, but
especially since he's from the border regions of Slovakia and Poland.
Yeah, it probably doesn't sound like he's from Texas. Sorry.
No. So when he tried to shoot one of the walls again this time, he managed just a few strange sparks and smoke. There were horizontal grooves in the walls that were warm to the touch, and Horak could find no other entrance, so he decided to take a note of the vent and cover it up so no one would find it. So, I mean, he's ballsy.
Yeah.
But also, if you do some exploring and you start seeing weird stuff like that, you might actually I'm tough. I'm in the military. I'm fighting the Germans. Maybe I can take off my clothes and
fight these aliens naked.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Wasn't it like a similar tunnel-like thing where supposedly we've gotten that gunfight with aliens? I think that was an underground U.S. base.
Are you talking Phil Schneider's story?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's similar. It was one of those deep underground military bases. A lot of secrets out there in the world, man. We got so many different subjects to cover. Thankfully, there's no end to them.
No, that should keep us busy for a while.
Yeah, it should.
All right. You want to read the next part, October 25th?
Yes, I will. October 25, 1944. We had a good night. Martin seems to mend. I'm glad that Urek's thigh is not yet well enough for him to want to go with me poaching for bats. It is better that he knows nothing about the cave's secret. The cave's secret.
That he eats bats for dinner.
I went directly to the wall, undressed like yesterday, smeared mutton fat over me. Shout out to all the lambs.
Yep.
Slid my things through the crack and went in feet first, extending the carbide lamp upon a double pole with 4 torches burning. Still the upper ends of the cliffs remain in the dark. I fired 2 bullets up, parallel to the walls. The report caused roars as seen from an express train, but no impact was visible. Then I fired 1 bullet on each wall, aiming some 15 meters upward from me. Got large blue-green sparks and such sounds that I had to hold my ears between my knees, and flames danced wildly. That guy's got to be flexible as hell. He holds his ears between his knees.
Yeah.
Damn.
Old school. They were tougher back then.
Yeah, I guess so. Assembling the pit caused more.